And I was going to say, and I feel the same way for so many of like my friendships in my life. I'm always,
Uh-huh.
and some of this is a lot of it is me and my self-image in the past, but
Right.
always like in the back of my mind, I think because of low self-worth, thinking that eventually they're going to leave, they're going to get tired of me and leave or
Mm.
whatever. And I know, like for you, I know that I can count on you like 100%. Like I know that you'll
Ah.
always be there if I needed you. And you know how I know it? I'll tell you that actually
How?
the time that I figured it out, I thought something was flashing behind me. Um, there was a time we had made plans for you just to come over and hang out. And I don't, this is like a couple years ago and, but before
Mhm.
COVID even. And I don't know why. And I guess we were just going to hang out or whatever. And
Mhm.
I don't know what you were doing at the time, but where you were working or what was going on, but I think you had forgotten. And maybe when we made the plans, it was just kind of like a, yeah, like loosely made plans or whatever. And I took them as more
Yeah.
serious. So I had gone out and like bought snacks and things. And the time had
Mm.
come and you weren't here. And so like after
Remember
about
that.
15 minutes, I texted you
Yeah.
and I'm like, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot and all that. And I said, oh, okay. So I took a now this is old me. I wouldn't do this today, but I was mad at first. I'll be honest with you. I was like mad. I felt, you know why? Because it tapped into my rejection wound. Again, nothing to do with you, because sometimes people forget life happens. It was me,
Yeah.
rejection wound. So I
Right.
took a picture of the snacks and I sent it to you. And you know what you did? So
What did I
you
do?
said, "Oh my God, I'm there in 10 minutes. I'm there putting my shoes on. I'm there in 10 minutes." And then I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
then I felt guilty. And I'm like, no, 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 it's okay. It's okay. I'll eat it. Don't worry. It won't go to waste. So, but I knew at that moment, I'm like, this is someone I can
Mhm.
count on, someone that I can count on. I'm serious.
Yes.
I'm serious. So, yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel the same way that, like you just said, I think before I hit record, I should have been recording.
Mm.
It's wonderful to have a friend, someone that knows you and gets you and that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can count
Gosh.
on. And
We women, we have to have people in our lives that just get us,
yeah,
you know?
it's true.
That's so important.
Epiphany. And you know what?
What? What?
The more I don't know, I bet you're going to feel the same way. The more
Mhm.
like we work on becoming our authentic selves, and then they're pulling her
Uh-huh.
out. I don't know if to say become or find, but because she's already in there for everyone. That's true for
Yeah.
everyone. But the closer we get to that, the more we become that, whatever, uh,
Mhm.
the more I feel known by you.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm gonna cry now.
Because, right?
Don't make me cry.
No, cry. It's good. Cry. We're authentic.
Oh,
No, because,
so funny.
because the more you
Yeah,
discover your authentic self, those filters start to come down, which then allows you to
absolutely.
be known even more, which then brings the filters down even more, which then allows the real you to be known even more.
And and you get to walk out in the world that way.
Hmm. Yeah.
You get to walk out as yourself
And it feels
in
good.
the world. It really does.
It feels so good.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. And that acceptance, like this person accepts me, so all is good. And anyone else that doesn't, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because
Yeah,
they're not my people.
that's right.
You know?
And it's not
So
about me. Like the little four agreements or whatever, someone else's opinion about me is really none of my business because it's not about me. It's about their
right,
perception of me, which may or may not be true.
right. And I was just thinking that being able to be authentic with someone that gets you, you're able to just march with your life. You can just uh, you, you just know that it's okay to be.
Yeah. Just such a freedom. It's such a
Yeah,
freedom to have that. And I think
yeah.
when we the more and more we become our authentic self, it's really what it is. I think is self-acceptance is what starts to happen. And then because
Yeah.
we're accepting of ourselves, then it allows, I don't know, it just like it's so tied into each other, self-acceptance and acceptance by others, by someone important to you. I mean, not like by society in general, but yeah. I don't know.
Right.
I'm still figuring it out. It's still working itself out of my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the more
But
you
yeah,
accept yourself, the more open you are, and the more you allow others into that space, and they're probably more
mhm.
likely to
Or
join
not,
or
or
not.
not.
Oh, that's
And the
true.
more you see,
Yeah.
the more you see the contrast of who is who you want to keep
Hmm.
and who you don't. And I guess it's all about how you feel.
Yeah.
Do I feel good, around this person? Do I feel good here? And you
Yes.
can make the choice to stay or
Yes.
not,
You find
to
that
keep
power.
or not. Yeah,
Yeah. That
it's
power
awesome.
within. Yeah. That's so empowering. Yeah.
Yeah.
That confidence and that power within to know, and know, like, what are the young kids? No shade on the ones that, you let go or whatever. It just means, like you said, they're
Yeah.
not your people, and that's okay. They're not better or
And
worse.
that's
They're just
okay.
not your people. It's okay. And I think when we're authentic, which leads to
Mhm.
self-acceptance, at least for me, what I find, like, my circle of people has become very, very small over the past few years. And that is
Mm,
completely okay. I used to be such an extrovert and had, a very
mm.
large number of friends on different degrees of acquaintance or
Right.
closeness or whatever. But um, the more so the more that the more authentic I am, the more in touch I am with my authenticity, the more self-acceptance I have. So I'm no longer
Mhm.
seeking that externally. So before, I might have
Right.
hung out with groups of people who I didn't really 100% align with, but because I was
Right.
so desperate to be accepted,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
didn't accept myself and I was looking for that
Right.
externally, I hung out with some people and dated some people that
Mhm.
maybe I shouldn't have done. Wasn't maybe
Yeah.
the best choice for myself. So yeah.
Right. Interesting. But was there a TikTok or an Instagram that we were looking at where the woman said she asked herself a different question? Oh, when someone did something in the relationship, and she said, oh, instead of saying, why didn't that person like me? She'd ask,
The red
um,
flags.
yes, the red
Let me
flags.
see.
Like, oh, that's not very attractive. That's
That
not
was
very attractive. I don't
such
think I
let
like
me
that.
turn that down. That was such a mind shift for me. I'm gonna
Hmm.
see uh if I can find it. I can play the little TikTok because it was so powerful. And
Yeah.
let me see. So, as talk amongst yourselves out there, but no.
Yay. Listen.
It
I'm just
was
sipping my coffee.
in your coffee. I love
Mm.
coffee. Thank God for coffee.
Oh,
Thank God for coffee.
I don't know who discovered it, but they did good.
Was it okay, now I want to know who discovered coffee. I know it wasn't, I want to say the
The
Mayans, but I bet it was
Mayans,
even
the
earlier than
Mayans.
that. I'm not
I
sure.
think it was the Mayans. I'm pretty sure.
Really? Okay. Well, okay, maybe. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pretty
Well,
sure.
what else I love about the Mayans then is cacao. I put that in my coffee.
Mm. Oh
Superfood.
yeah.
I love cacao, and it makes it so
Oh my
chocolatey.
gosh.
Oh man. Okay.
Mm.
Well,
Isn't it
we'll
great
talk
when
about
you
those red
eat?
flags another time because I can't find it anymore. Isn't it great? What?
Isn't it just great? It's great when you put good things into your body. Always feel good about myself when I put good things in.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
and I'm learning more to just, as I'm learning about flaneur, is to just taste like this French roast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually tasting every inch of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're
you
savoring.
know, a-
You're
and it's
savoring.
so good. It tastes so good.
I love
So if we
coffee.
can, it would be nice to just get women, especially, to just don't sip and look at your phone or sip and yeah, just really sip it. Like
Yeah.
it's like the best tasting thing right now.
Yes, I know, right? It's the best cup of coffee. Are you
The
drinking
best
the La
cup of coffee
Madeleine
ever.
French roast?
I am Le Madeleine. Le
La
Madeleine.
Madeleine.
Oh, you can't see Le Madeleine. Le Madeleine. Yep. And bonjour.
And bonjour.
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 I've got that French thing going today. I think I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep the whole French thing going because I'm a Francophile at heart.
Yeah.
So why not?
What is it? All right. So we know, like, not we know. Now everyone
Mhm.
else will know. I'm obsessed with
Mhm.
Spain. So if a
Yeah.
Francophile, if you're obsessed with all things French, you're a Francophile.
Mhm.
Is there one for
Mhm.
Spain? I'll have to look that up. Is there?
I have
Or
no
Oh,
idea.
I'll have to
There
see.
is one for Europe, Europhile.
Oh, well, there must be one for, I'll have to look it
There's
up
got
for
to be one.
Spain.
We'll
It
have to
wouldn't,
look that
wouldn't
up.
be Spainophile. That doesn't sound right. So I don't think that would be it. Spainophile. But yeah,
Oh, well.
looking forward to visiting
Francophile.
Spain
Okay.
eventually. COVID
All
will
right. So
calm
we'll
down.
put that on. We'll put that on the list of things to research.
Yes, I know. I need
Your
to.
allergies are getting to you, right?
They are. I'm like, come on,
Oh.
allergies. Stop running my nose.
So
is running
we
down the street.
actually had a topic today.
We
that
did. Thank you.
We were going to talk about.
Okay. Spainophile. I'm writing down Spainophile, even though my apologies to anyone from Spain. I know that's not it, but I'll know it the next time we come. All right. So I'm going to pull it up and read it.
Okay.
And,
All right.
And then ask you about it. And then maybe I'll talk about it a little bit. Okay. So here is, Jacqueline sent this to me a couple days ago, I think. Through you guys, if you don't have a friend who's constantly sending you TikToks and quotes and Instagrams and whatever, wherever they get it, YouTube videos and all of that, that are just like profound and make you have these epiphanies, you need to get one ASAP. I can't tell you what a wonderful blessing that is. And this is how we got here. So you're always sending these things back and forth. That's why I couldn't find the TikTok a minute ago, because there's so many to go through, but we'll save that for another show. Okay. So this is the one Jacqueline sent me the other day. What if there is a path for you that is greater than what you can envision? What if there is a life for you that is more than you would even know to ask for? What if you are inherently and unknowingly limited by your old perspectives, your outdated ideas of what is possible? What if all the discomfort within you within your being is simply trying to redirect you to a place beyond anything you've ever considered before? What if there is more than you know? What if there are things out there so good you don't even know you're waiting for them? And that, let me give credit to, that was, is it
Shout out.
Brianna Wiest? Is that how we say
Thought catalog.
Thought catalog. Okay, thank you. Thought catalog. She
Brianna
has a
Wiest.
great book called The
Wiest,
Mountain
Wiest.
is You. The Mountain is
Oh my
You.
goodness. Oh my
And
gosh.
so
What a
Brianna,
book.
if you ever hear this, I'm sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, but I think it's Brianna Wiest. She's on all the social media. So beautiful and mind altering. So what made you pick that when you read that?
So
what made you send that to me?
The epiphany was when I read it, I thought about all the different decisions we make in life and how each decision can take us down a different path. So one decision will get you that way, and one decision will take you that way. So I thought about years ago, before I moved here in 96, before I moved to Atlanta in 96, I was on a plane and I met this guy on the plane, and he gave me his telephone number, and I never called him. And that year, a few months later, I married Ron. And I thought that just shows decisions that we make. So what if I had decided to call him? Where would my life be? What would I be doing now if I had called? And if I had called, I probably would have never met you, because I'd be off doing
that's true.
something else. So every decision that we make takes us down a different path. Every decision that we make. And so I thought about, and I also thought about the things that stop me from doing things. because I want to get it right. I've got this thing. Oh my gosh, is this the right thing to do? You want it to be right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent it to you because I thought about flow and how instead of worrying about what, making this decision and where it's going to go, how about we just flow
Yeah.
and follow your intuition,
Mm-hmm.
follow what your heart says, and see where it lands.
Yeah. And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that really is, we really only have two choices, I guess, or maybe three. It's either to follow the flow or resist
Mm-hmm.
it,
Right.
or resist it. Maybe that's it, really, just the two, either follow it or resist it.
I also thought too that I'm really tired of not going with something. At this point in my life, I just want to go with it all and see where I land.
I love it. I love it. Why not?
Go with it all and
Yeah.
see where I land.
Yeah. And if you don't like where you land, you're not a tree, right? There's that old saying, you're not a tree, you can leave, you can move. So yeah, you just go on to something else.
You just make another decision.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. That didn't work. So let's try this,
That didn't work. What can I, like, what is the data? Let me get the feedback from it. No, in complete neutrality, no judging, no criticizing. That didn't work.
What was the first question on that? What was the first line on that?
Let's see. I thought I was getting a delivery for a second, but it's not me. It's my neighbor.
Okay.
I was like all excited. Amazon man, come be on TV, on the podcast. What if there is a path? Do you want me to read the whole thing again, or just the first one?
Yeah, go ahead. Read it again. Read it again for the people in the seats in the back.
For the little, and we'll put it on the show notes in the podcast, and I'll include it on the in the YouTube area too.
Yeah.
Or you can just follow Brianna on Instagram and get it for yourself straight there. Go straight to the source. What if there is a path for you that is greater than what you can envision? Yeah. What if there is a life for you? Do you want me to stop, or you want me to keep going?
Greater than you can envision. And I knew that was something. So that line there, that's kind of what stops decisions. That would stop me from making a decision. Because you know how they say visualize what you want, visualize what you want. But we're only looking from the perspective of what we know. We don't know anything else.
Right.
That line right there stops things. Or maybe it should stop things. And maybe that's where flow comes in. So instead of visualizing that, trip to Hawaii, right? Instead of visualizing that, what if we just let life flow? Because maybe instead of just getting Hawaii, we get the world. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And you're going to love this. This just came into my mind. So, and I call it flow. And then I was going to say, yes, we just let life unfold. And really, and then I was thinking in my mind, you let life like unfold all over you. Just let it just unfold all over you, walk into it. But then the picture I got in my mind was from Under the Tuscan Sun. Ladybugs. Oh, yes. Ladybugs.
The ladybugs.
Lots of ladybugs. So just go
work on your house and forget about it. And forget about it.
And so just let those ladybugs just like,
you know what? I think Oprah was a good example of that too, of that first line, where she just had, her life was all about her intention, what her intention was. And if you set an intention, and then from there, you let things unfold instead of picking specifics, because you have no idea.
Absolutely.
You could be holding yourself back from something that's really more magnificent than what you thought.
Yep.
So maybe that's the key. Just set an intention. This is what I intend to do. You intend to empower women to think about themselves and to live their authentic life.
Mhm.
You know, I want to empower women to take it slow and easy and, um, you know, drink more wine, have more leisurely, experiences,
Yeah.
and that's the intention. And what that looks like is none of our business, I guess. As long as the intention is there, then it will unfold to where it will should be. And it could be grander
Mhm.
than what we could ever
Could have imagined.
imagined.
If we don't
That's
resist it.
that's
If
what I got.
if we don't
If we
resist it.
don't resist
If
it.
it's like, this doesn't
Yeah.
look like what I was thinking, so I'm not gonna go down this path. And, so, yeah,
Right.
because that's resistance. And that, you know what?
Yeah.
It's so true, because that's absolutely true. And that probably actually has been what has been happening in my life. I would say, I think last August is when I first started like those little educational workbooks where they're just like the little
Mhm.
practice, for the little
Yeah.
kids thing.
Yeah.
And I started that. It's COVID. I'm at home. I'm, kind of
Mhm.
quarantining, all of that. And I was just finally got bored enough. So I was doing some tutoring with the school online, but I didn't have enough students and I was just really bored. And so I did that. While I
Mhm.
was doing that, the idea for the happiness journal for teens kind of took shape. I wish I could tell you. I really get it was unfolding and I was just following the path. It just kind of created
Okay.
itself. I didn't
Yeah.
start out with a plan. And then
Right.
after the journal, I did have a plan. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take those same topics and write a book for adults, because I want, they're from positive psychology and it's a great way to, it's the good life, that good life vibe, so I want everyone to
Mhm.
have a good life. Uh, and so that was the plan. Somehow, somewhere along the way, and I cannot tell you, I wish I could backtrack and tell you the moment that book became the transformative thinking program, which is, the
Yeah.
one I'm selling on Etsy. And that's the one where you
Mm.
reprogram your self-image. And then using that new self-image, it helps you to create the life of your dreams, the life that you really want. And then,
Right.
so that's since become, oh, I'm going to turn that into an online class. It looks, so if you asked me back in August,
Right.
I would have had no idea that that's what was going to happen and how things were going to unfold. And I
Okay.
have just gone with the
Right.
flow every step of the
Right.
way. I haven't fought it. And that's probably been the first time in my life that I've ever really done that, fully given into the process and
Right.
given in to the flow, and
Oh
just
my
like, and just
gosh.
traveling along and let it unfold. And just like the ease that you talk about, like your
Mhm.
framework and the peace and all of
Mhm.
that, that is
Mhm.
what that has brought into my life. Life is
Oh
just
my goodness.
become so,
Isn't it amazing? Like this moment is pretty amazing.
mhm.
It's like amazing.
Even this was like,
Yeah.
I could
This
never
came
have,
out of
yes.
it's so funny. Oh well. Yeah. So yes. So yes. I think that the key is set an intention
Mhm.
and then let the universe, God, let it let it do what it's going to do,
Yeah.
and it will do it.
Because there's no way in our little tiny minds that we could ever come up with all the possible infinite solutions
Exactly.
or directions or whatever. So why limit
Exactly.
ourselves?
It's like the paths, different paths. Every decision takes you down a different path.
Hmm.
And so, yeah. I think in your workbook, is there visualization in the workbook? I haven't gotten
We
that
haven't got
far
to
in the
that yet.
workbook.
There
Okay.
is, so yeah, so that
Okay.
there is a scripting, as what you're
Okay.
writing it
That's it.
out, like you're right. And then that,
Yeah.
but you script so that you can get to you're following a script to the visualization part. And that is the heart of it, because
Okay.
it's real. The brain is such a fascinating thing. It's not, there's a
Mhm.
lot of mental effort, but it's
Mhm.
not difficult. And it's simple, but it's not easy, because it does require a lot of effort in the beginning, mental effort, but you're simply just creating those neural pathways with that visualization.
Right.
And that, you
Right.
can do that for anything, for a habit or learning a skill.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes use that, the visualization, to help
Right.
them improve. But yeah, we haven't gotten to
Yeah.
that yet. So I need to get on it.
Okay.
Like, I'm behind on my own
You
program,
need
but
to
yeah,
catch up.
I know.
You need to catch
Uh,
up.
yeah.
Listen, I just filled out my blank, the blank page, it's like, I'm so happy. Page is filled out.
When
I am,
oh no,
I'm
go ahead.
feeling so good right now. I can't even explain it. But and you know what I think it is? I think that when you know that you're doing something that uh, you love,
Hmm.
and what, okay, so I'm feeling good right now because I'm loving what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I love that quote where I think it was Maya Angelou that said, success or happiness is when you love who you are, what you do, how you do it.
Hmm.
You know, I'm starting to really love
Yeah.
my life and how it's unfolding, and
Yeah.
just going with the flow. Love that.
Yeah.
Making little decisions, deciding, seeing where that decision goes, and seeing if I like it and if I want to change direction. I mean, life is fascinating.
It is fascinating. It's definitely a journey, isn't it? An adventure. It's definitely an
Oh,
adventure.
but here's the thing. We're creating it.
Hmm.
Like with every decision, we're creating what's coming up for us,
Yeah.
And I love intentionally creating where I want my life to go.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I think that, again, that's another shift. God, this is like, it's just so enlightening to me, these conversations, because the more that we become our authentic
Mhm,
selves, then we can
mhm.
authentically begin to create. So we're not running on that program that others have given to us. We're creating our own, and it's authentic to who we
Yes.
are, why we came here. And that's what's causing all of that joy. Because let's just be honest. I mean, I'm not going to say any details or anything, but life is not perfect for either one of us.
Oh,
We have our own trials
mm-mm.
and tribulations, even right now.
Oh my
But
gosh.
that joy and that excitement and that passion, you can have that even if life is imperfect for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's those little moments. It's the little moments that do it,
Hmm.
And I think it's important for women to take time out just to be, so that they can feel those little moments. Stop, stop just doing stuff for everyone else and just take a moment to just be, to sip, to eat, you know, I raised my boys and they were my life. They still are my life, of course, but
Yeah.
now I'm more into my life,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
what brings me joy, because I did my job.
Yeah.
I did my job. Okay.
Although
I did
they
my
still
job.
they still do ask mom, how long do I cook
Oh
this?
my
What
gosh.
number on the microwave?
Oh my
So
goodness.
funny.
That
They're
is
so funny.
so fascinating.
Crack me up.
They're so fascinating. I
Yeah.
blame myself for that because I
No.
should have showed them how to use the microphone when they were 4 years old. I should have
Yeah.
done that. And women, take note of this. Teach your children to do things themselves,
Mm.
so that when
Mhm.
they get older, they don't have to depend on you. you know so you get a
Yeah.
call, you're in San Francisco and you got a call, okay, what setting should the wash go
Oh
on?
my God. Oh my
That's like,
goodness.
okay, that's like totally my fault, so I did that. Yeah, I did that.
Oh my goodness. Those
Oh
boys, those
gosh.
young men.
How do you make
So funny.
ramen noodles? Yeah, I
Oh, my,
did that. I
oh, come
That's my
on.
fault. That is totally my fault. I take
So
total
funny.
responsibility for that. But
Mm,
note to self, teach your
yeah,
children to be self-sufficient, so
yeah,
that you don't get calls when you're in San Francisco,
right,
trying to
right.
enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And it,
But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and really just thinking about children doing that. When we do that, it helps them to create an authentic self-image. I'm just going to say, when we're self-reliant,
Oh
it just
gosh, yes.
automatically is, helps to build that authenticity within us. But
I
anyway,
tell my boys all the time, stop doubting yourself, trust yourself.
yes.
Trust that trust
Oh,
yourself.
that was the other thing I was going to
What?
say is like,
What?
so when you were saying about how letting life just unfold and being in the
Hmm.
flow and all of that,
Hmm.
when we, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's just such an important thing. When we are not our authentic selves, when we're living on off of the messages that others have told us about ourselves and they're not
Yes.
true,
Uh-huh.
who can trust themselves? We're not
Right.
able, if we're not in touch with
Right.
that authenticity within ourselves, you're not going to be able to trust ourselves, which is going to cause
Right.
doubt. And if we can't trust ourselves, why would we trust something outside of ourselves and be able to fully follow the flow or let life unfold? Right.
Yeah.
And then I think
If we
that's where the
can just
struggle and resistance comes in, because of the lack of trust in ourselves.
if we could just get in people's minds what we're learning,
Mhm.
th- that would just be like, really, if we could get one person to just say,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with the flow. This is the
Mhm.
direction I want to go in, and I'm going to let it rip. I'm just going to
Yes.
let you take over, take over, and let it flow and see what comes up. It's so empowering, of course, but it's so eye-opening what
Yes.
appears in your life and how your life changes from day to day, week to week, month to month. I mean, we're going to look back. We're going to look back on this by the end of the year. We're going to look back and we're going to be like, wow, I
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
I
We
created
already
that.
can say that, like you and me both,
I
for different
know.
reasons. So I think we were
Oh
talking,
my
this is a few
goodness.
months ago, like, have
Mhm.
we gone into a different timeline, as some people say, or something? Because you're just like, when did all this and this and this and this happen? And how did that happen? And yeah, you're just, even
It's
in
so
such a short
amazing.
period of time, like, I can't believe all these changes have happened in such a short
It's
period
so
of time.
amazing.
So who knows by December of 2022 what life
Mhm.
is going to look like. It's going to be exciting. Exciting.
Like a movie.
Yeah. Like a movie. It's
It's a
true.
movie.
And we are
We're the maker.
producers, we're
Yes,
producers, directors, actors,
that's
writers.
us,
Mhm.
right?
So
That's
why
it's
not?
our
If we
movie.
really are that, and we really, really are, each one of us, then why not write an awesome movie, a happy movie? Why not?
So
It's part. Oh, go ahead.
even movies have an intention,
Hmm. Yeah.
So the movie of our life is our intention, how we want it to go,
Yeah.
and we can change the script
Anytime.
anytime.
Anytime we want. And no, like, I think that's another big thing is we need to learn to look at that as, if something happens that we don't like, we're like, well, that didn't work, or oh, okay, I thought I
Hmm.
was going to like that, but no, not really. Just look at it
Yeah.
as in neutrality, without judgment, without criticism, and look at it simply as feedback and collecting data. And then
Yes.
use that, apply that. That's called wisdom, apply that for
Yeah.
your next step. That's it. Then follow the next
Absolutely.
step and use that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Hard to do.
Mhm.
Hard. We're doing it now, but
Yeah.
it took us a while to get there.
Yeah.
It's not an overnight thing.
Oh no, it's lifelong. It's a lifelong journey for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure. Like you said, 5 years from now, when we watch this, we're gonna crack up. We're gonna crack up at ourselves. Like, oh my God, if we only knew, we were just at the beginning.
I think we're here because we're just plain tired of not living or feeling in our lives the way we want.
Yeah.
So we searched and searched for answers.
Hmm.
And it's important to ask yourself the question, okay, my life's not looking the way I want it to look. So what's up with that? Why is
Wow.
that? And we
Yes.
searched.
Yes, we have.
We searched
Yes, we
for
have.
answers.
Mhm.
And more people need to search for
Yeah.
answers about their lives. If it's not looking the way you want it to look, you gotta like say, okay, why? Why is that?
And don't be
Why is
afraid.
that?
I think
And
a lot of people are afraid to ask that question, honestly, but
yeah,
don't be afraid of the answer. It's so
yeah.
empowering.
Oh
It
my
reminds me
goodness.
back, okay, to my very favorite, all-time favorite quote, from,
Mhm.
okay, Kahil Gibran. And
Okay.
he says, and you'll know what I'm talking about in a minute. We choose our joys and suffering long before we experience them. And I may have gotten that a little backwards, and that's
Mhm.
the thing that led to my huge epiphany about joy. I choose joy, about
Yeah.
choosing joy. And when I had to uh, I'm actually going to make one of my own videos about this, so I'll go to much more detail on that. But when I had the flashback to a time in my life where I was just crying and, over the situation, and I was just like really at the point where I just want to die in my sleep. I was just so tired of suffering.
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
like flashed back. It was like going back in time and out of body experience, looking
Uh-huh.
at myself, as a separate
Mhm.
entity. And I realized I was able to connect all the dots, that I had actually caused that suffering in my life by all of the decisions and choices and things that I had made
Yeah.
over time. I caused that. And I realized, but I didn't have any judgment about myself. I was like, had a lot of compassion looking at myself crying on the bed. But I
Yeah.
realized, and that was so much power, because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I caused all of that suffering in my life, if I
Mm.
caused it, that means I can uncause it. I
You
can
can
choose
cause it.
joy. I can choose to cause myself joy
Yeah.
instead.
So what's the question we need to ask ourselves is, will this decision put me in the direction of where I want to go?
Yes.
Will this, even will the thought that I'm thinking
Yes.
put me
Yes.
in the
Well,
direction
that's
I
where it
want to
all,
go?
yeah,
Is
it
this going to
starts with the
bring,
thoughts.
is this going to bring me peace,
Hmm.
or is it going to bring me sadness?
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
we do that in every area of our lives.
Yeah.
Is this going to bring me peace? Is this going to make me happy?
Before we can
You
even
know,
answer that question, we have to know
Mm.
truly, authentically what makes us happy, not what someone
That
else
is
has told
true.
us
That is
will make
true.
us happy. Like,
That is true.
is this fancy Corvette or this, whatever going to make
Yeah.
me happy?
Yeah.
Probably not really. If you dig in there a little bit, it's something else, that's
Yeah.
deeper than that. But yeah,
And the only way to find out is just to explore different things.
yeah,
Just follow your curiosity.
yeah.
That's what we were doing, following our curiosity. I wonder, it's like when I first moved to Atlanta, I used to drive around and
Mm-hmm.
intentionally like, okay, I wonder where this street goes. I'd go down the
Mm-hmm.
street to learn, like,
Yeah,
I wonder where this goes. So just, been following my curiosity ever since.
yeah.
I wonder, I wonder.
And if you get into a dead end, turn around and go back out.
Exactly.
Change directions, change course.
Exactly. This was before, Google Maps.
Yeah. Yes, when we used to do, what was that called? Where you had to like print it out and map your route.
Oh, Map
MapQuest.
Quest.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. You young kids will never
Gosh.
know the difficulties.
Right.
Oh my God. Oh
So
Lord. And
funny.
God help me.
Yeah.
I could never read. I never really understood key maps. And then
Yeah.
a map, I don't know. I don't have strong spatial ability. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that about myself and I'm okay with it. But in my mind, I flip a map. When I see a map, so let's say you're supposed to
Yeah.
go, shows on there, you're going south. In my mind, for whatever reason, I flip it to the opposite direction. And so I go the wrong way. But now I know, if I have to look at a map, I just go the opposite way I think the map is telling me, and I get there. It's weird. So
Wow.
thank God for GPS and all of that. That is a gift.
Well, listen, north, south, I have a problem with north, south, east, and west. I'm okay with that.
There's a funny meme about that, like about GPS saying go north on da da da, and I forget the meme says
It's like, what?
he's like, I'll clean it up a little bit. It's funny, but he's like, man, I don't know northeast and west. Am I turning right or left? Tell me or something. It's just
Exactly.
funny. I was like, yeah, I can
Exactly.
totally relate to that because
So truly, that's how I'm able to travel by myself, because I have Google, I have Uber. I mean, everything is at your fingertips now. It's
yeah, it's true.
wonderful.
Technology is such a
The
wonderful thing in so many ways.
oh my goodness, really is. I wonder if there's a metaphor between the phone and life. How can you just push a button and you go in that direction? I guess, I don't know.
I
They've made
was
it so that you can rule the world with your phone.
yes,
Yeah.
really. I was thinking more of like a metaphor though, really of same with that quote, choosing joy or choosing sorrow.
Mhm.
Technology, we can use it to
Mhm.
do so many wonderful things,
Oh
but
yeah.
it can be
Yeah.
used in such horrible,
Mm,
horrible negative ways too. And what does it come
right.
down to? It's not the
Right.
technology itself, it's neutral. It's the choice that
Mhm.
we make. We choose how to use it in our lives.
Exactly.
So we can do the same thing with our own lives. We choose,
Absolutely.
we get to choose. Uh,
Mm.
yeah.
So read that first line again.
From the thing you sent me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
What if there is a path for you that is greater than what you can envision?
Hmm.
What if there's a life for you that is more than you would even know to ask for? This is so true. I'm going to tell a little story from my, just reminding me of something when I was teaching um,
Mhm.
back in Texas. So teaching high school.
Mhm.
One year, I had a student who was, she was like obsessed with fashion. And I would always have to tell her, put the magazines away. And you can look at it when you're done with your work and all that. She was just obsessed
Uh-huh.
with hair and nails and fashion and all that. And one
Uh-huh.
day I just said, just offhandedly, I said, her name was Olga. And I said, you would make a great, you should be like a buyer for Dillard's
Oh
or,
wow.
a store like that. And she's like,
Uh-huh.
what is that, miss? And so I explained what that job was to her, and her mind was blown. I mean, she's like, oh my God, there's a job like that. There's something they'll pay you to do that. And, and I don't know. I don't think that's what she ended up doing. But before that moment in time, she had no idea that that was even a possibility for her, like that
Oh
even
wow.
existed. And it was something at the time for
Right.
her that was just so perfect. And she loved it.
Okay.
So I think
Oh
that's
wow.
again why it ties back to that. What if there is a life that we can't, so wonderful and fantastic, but we can't even imagine it. So if we're holding on
Right.
so tight to this one idea, it has to happen this way,
Yes.
this has to happen or whatever,
Right.
we could be missing out on so much if we're
Exactly.
not like open and
Exactly.
following the flow and just letting it unfold. Just like you said, put out
Exactly.
the intention and then
Exactly.
let it happen how it wants to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you're
think our
working,
lives,
but yeah.
our lives are based on our intentions. What
Yeah.
we see in front of us is an intention that we made.
Very true. Either an authentic one or an inauthentic one. So if it's something before
Exactly.
us that we're miserable and causes us suffering and all of that, I guarantee you that
Right.
came from a false self-image that wasn't a true
Mhm.
intention. Yeah.
Yeah. And if that's the case,
Yeah.
why not direct it? Why not direct it, put it in the
Yes.
direction you want it to go? Because that's what we're doing all day, every day anyway.
I think that's where people, and I myself didn't think about that until recently. We don't realize that. We don't realize we
Mhm.
have that power. One, we don't realize things
Yeah.
are running automatically, and we need to like bring that
Right.
into the conscious level so we can choose and direct it any way we
Right.
want. But we
Right.
don't realize that we have that power, that we
Yeah.
have the power to choose and to create. We
Yeah.
really do.
Oh my goodness.
We have that power.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
living proof
And
of that.
I know, I think that from the universe knows what our deepest desires are.
Mhm.
And if we set an intention, it's going to pull into our lives the best of that
Yes.
intention.
Yep.
I really,
Absolutely.
I really believe that. So we had something we probably never even thought of
Hmm.
will come out of that,
Yeah.
because the universe, God knows us that well
Yeah.
that it will just say, okay, all right, that's okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And it will give you the very best of that intention.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I've learned that. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Oh, the little things, the little epiphanies everywhere. Mm, life's pretty cool.
It is. It is. It's an adventure. It's an
Yes,
adventure.
we're certainly having an adventure.
We are. We are having an adventure. We are having an adventure for sure. And I'll even say, like, when going back to resisting, because it's again, it's our
Mhm.
choice. So we can set an intention, we can
Right.
have these desires and all of that. And then it's our choice. We can choose to accept them and receive them, or we can choose to resist it or say, nope, whatever. And again, no judgment or criticism. It's just our choice. But I think some we can eat, but we choose to bring ourselves joy or suffering, and so of
Yeah.
course we want to bring ourselves joy. But I was thinking about, where was I going with this? I was thinking about, like, just the last few years and how, especially with
Mhm.
COVID and the quarantine, and how just,
Yeah.
difficult and hard it's mentally and physically it's been for all of us worldwide, really. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we chose, I've totally lost my train of thought. I don't know. What
It's
did you
okay.
say a second ago? Let's like get my little memory bubble back.
Oh no, you're
What
going
were
to
you
make me
saying?
think about what I
What
said.
was the
How
last thing you
about
said? I
the
know.
intention?
The
The
intention.
universe is going to give you the best, knows your desires,
And give me the
and
best.
it's going to
Going with
give you
that.
the best of what your intentions are. Um, yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's all right.
I
It'll
lost my
come
little
back to
thought. It'll
you.
come back at 3 a.m, and then I'm going to wake everyone up, and we're going to have a Zoom. But I think that that's definitely true. Is that we, gosh, it's like such an epiphany to me. Um,
We have to learn
don't
to
know.
write stuff down. Oh
Yes,
well.
true. I've got a pad of paper right next to me too, but
Oh
okay.
well. See, didn't use it,
Didn't
honey.
use it. Chose not to use it, and I lost that thought. Um, hmm, oh
It will
well,
come back to
whatever.
you.
That's okay. But
It's
yeah,
okay.
but like, yes. So there is a book that I read that really ties in
Mhm.
this vision in my head. It's called, I think it was originally written in the 70s, and it's called Psycho Cybernetics.
Psycho-cybernetics.
Psycho
Okay.
Cybernetics. It was written by a plastic surgeon of all things, but
Uh-huh.
he talked about, and it is definitely geared towards the
I
male
think I remember
audience, as
this.
so much of the self development stuff is.
Mm,
And even though like 70% of women make up the audience, the consumers of that material, the majority of creators are men. So trying to
yeah.
change that a little bit. Let's have
Yeah.
women empowering women instead. But
Yes, of
um
course.
in his book, though, he had this, I think it was him. I think this is in his book. Might have been something else, actually, now that I think about it. But anyway, there was this great metaphor about life and about setting an intention for life, really, and then letting it unfold as it
Mhm.
wants to. And he said that
Right.
if you imagine yourself as like a ship, a big ship, but a ship in the ocean, and think about how big the
Right.
ocean is, right? But the ships
Right.
have radar systems, but the
Right.
radar systems can only go out and wide so far. I don't know what the limit is, a couple of miles, or how, I have no idea, but they only have a certain radius, right, that they can see. But there's an entire ocean out there. So when we're like desiring something or setting an intention for something, uh and we, well, I guess now, does it really tie into what we're talking? I'm going to finish the story. So he said, don't, set your intention, but it might be just right off the radar. In other words, so you may not see it in your
Oh,
scope and your vision, but it doesn't
okay.
mean that it's not there or that it's not going to happen, because it might just be right off your radar, but we can only see
And,
out so far, but God can see,
yeah.
everything. So yeah. So
That ties
that's,
into her first line. That ties into her
yeah.
first line about, the what if. it's bigger and better than you can
Yes,
imagine.
there you go.
Yeah,
So yeah.
it
So
ties into that.
don't block anything out immediately. Anything that comes into your path, consider it, really consider it.
Yeah.
And then it might be for you, it might not, but be open.
I love that we talk about what we're learning
Hmm.
as we're going along with life, answering the questions,
Hmm.
that we have about our
Yeah.
lives and how to go, how to do it in a way that we want to, directing our own ship,
Yeah.
so to
Yeah.
speak.
Ship,
You
that's
know,
it. Ship. We'll
so
use the clean version. Ship. Because
it's
we
our
could say
ship.
the other one.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah.
Right.
So that's great though. But we
Cool.
have the power. We all have it within us already. Nobody needs to give it to us. Nobody, we can
I
be
know.
lights for each other to help each other along the way and say, hey, this is what I've learned. This is what I've learned. But
Yeah.
we all already have it within us. We are sovereign over ourselves. And this is so powerful right here. It all begins
Oh
and
my
ends in
goodness.
here. And if we're not programming it, someone else is, but this is always being programmed. So it's so important that we
Talk about empowerment. Talk about knowing that you have the power to direct your life, your
Yep.
ship.
Absolutely.
Like,
We are
that's
the captains.
yes.
We're the captains of our own ships.
Hello. Mm,
And life is the ocean, which is often uncontrollable. But if we're good captains and we know how to drive the ship and we understand how it
yeah.
really works, we can survive any storm.
And I don't want people to think that this is something that we like. This took years. This
Oh,
took
yeah.
years for
Yeah.
us to get to this point
Oh,
where
yeah.
we can.
Oh, yeah. It's not, but
it's not overnight, but
it's not overnight. It will always be a lifelong journey. Will always be when
absolutely.
you look within, it's
Yeah.
never ending, but it becomes
Yeah.
exciting. But again, I'm gonna go back to our last podcast is that what you
Mhm.
just have to take like that first little step of forward progress into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no turning back after that. And just because of that joy and that excitement and that passion, and like, this is it, this is what I came here for. There's no turning back. It's just all forward motion at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exciting.
So our podcast is going to unfold. Our podcast will unfold.
Yes. And we're going to have little epiphanies everywhere, all across the world, our community. We're working on it, by the way. We should say, let's mention that about
we're working on it.
Yeah, developing a place
Oh
where we
my
can have
goodness.
community.
Oh my goodness, where women are discovering and sharing their little epiphanies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're going to put the community together. Not sure where yet, but stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It will unfold as it should, in the way it should.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's great.
Absolutely.
Well, my friend, I'm ready for lunch.
Yes,
Are you
my
ready to
friend.
meet for lunch?
I'm ready to meet for
All
lunch.
right,
Let's
meet
do
for
it.
lunch. All right.
We're hungry.
Yes, we're hungry. Okay. Did we ever decide?
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Thank you,
everybody.
For joining us. Yeah. Epiphanies. Hello to all our little epiphanies out there.
Right.
So, yeah, thanks for joining us again. As always, we would love to hear any comments that you have, ideas, thoughts. You want to share your own epiphanies. You want us to talk about a certain epiphany on the show. Let us know. Get in touch with us. Our contact information will also be like in the show notes and on the YouTube notes. Things there. All of that will be in there. So,
and we should mention Allie. Allie is the founder of Good Life Vibe, the Good Life.
I know you like,
right?
Like, what is the name of your company?
The Good Life, the Good Life
on
the Good
Instagram.
Life?
I have at let's see, I had to change it because somebody had the name I wanted.
I knew there was a change somewhere.
Yeah, that Good Life _vibe. The real the parent company name is different because it's overarching. It's High Vibe Vibe High Ventures, but I don't go by that because I create so many different products. But they're all the positive psychology, that type of thing, but for
Mhm.
some for children, some for teens, and some for adults. So
Mhm.
Instagram is that good vibe, that good life underscore vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
I'm Jacqueline, and I am the founder of Sweet Flaneur and Sweet Flaneur Wine.
You should
And
probably spell flaneur just for people
I
that
know,
don't speak
right?
French so they can find you. Spell it. Can you spell?
F F s- FLA. How do you spell Flaneur? Ha ha ha. Funny.
You didn't know it was going to be a quiz
FLA.
today.
I know, right? FLANEUR. Sweet Flaneur. Sweet Flaneur on Instagram. And it's all about empowering women to slow down, stop going and going, actually taste your coffee. Yeah. Take a walk, say hi to a tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about relaxing and leisure because you did your job.
And you are
You did your
perfect
thing.
the way you
And you were
are.
exactly.
Nothing wrong with you. You're
Exactly.
perfectly fine just the way you are.
Yeah. Yep.
Just the way you are.
Now,
Own that.
now
If you
it's time.
own nothing else this week, own that you are
Mm,
perfect just the way you are, and savor that. You may want to
absolutely.
develop things, and there may be some self-mastery skills or whatever. Fine. That's fine. But you as an individual are perfect just the way you are.
Absolutely. Yes. Please get that in your head. Like you've got nothing to prove. You're enough
And you deserve
just the way you are.
the life that you want. Whatever that life is, you
Absolutely.
deserve it. You don't have to do anything to deserve it. You already do.
You deserve anything your heart's desire.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right.
Well,
So
all right.
that's
We
it
will
for,
see
yeah.
you. We will see you soon.
All right.
We will be back
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks. Yes. Bye-bye.